I'm from Exploradora 80, and I would like to explore 80 countries. And I was in France literally a day ago, and I just wanted to tell you all about it. I'm currently in country 62, Luxembourg, but that will be another live. I'm just here to talk about France and Lyon. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, I left last night at 8:40 on a Baka bus. I don't know if I even got that right, but it's like a bus that travels around the different states, the different countries in Europe, and it's pretty cheap, probably cheap and nasty. But anyway, I didn't want to leave Lyon. Oh my goodness. Okay, so first of all, I came to Lyon for a wedding. I didn't come because I knew it was amazing. I didn't come because it was on my bucket list. But since coming, it should have been on my bucket list and I should have come earlier. But I'm glad I came. So this series is called France Diaries, and this is chapter 4, because I'd like to document my journey into France, because honestly, Paris has been a place that I have loved. Haven't been there yet. Well, I mean, I have been there, but I'm not on this trip. I'm about to go there. And France has always been Paris has always been a place that I've always looked at as one of my favorite cities. Now, not everyone loves Paris, and that's all right. We can all have different opinions, but I love Paris. One of my goals is to live in Paris for 3 months, just to experience the Parisian way, and just see what it's like. So anyway, so France to me has always been Paris, okay? So just setting that up. So I was invited to a wedding. My friend Adriana was marrying a guy called Marshall. I met her when I was working in Cancun selling timeshare 25 years ago. 25 years ago? Yes, 25 years ago. Yep. And we kept in contact. She moved to France to live with her boyfriend, who is French, and she was in Paris. And about 13 years ago, I went to visit her in Paris on a European little trip I was on with a boyfriend at the time. And yeah, we met up, and I met Marshall, her fiance, and yeah, we had a quick, brief couple of drinks, and then we've just kept in contact again. So, it was just a lovely friendship we had, and she invited me to her wedding about 6 months ago, and I didn't get the message. It wasn't downloaded, so I missed the message that she was getting married. I was on a holiday with my partner Diego in Samoa, and I get a message from her saying, "Hey, I'm getting married. I invited you, I didn't hear from you." I'm like, "What? You're getting married?" And so I was like, "Oh," and then the wedding was on the Saturday, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can come." So I kind of ummed and ahed over it for a couple of days, and my partner Diego kind of just said, "Look, you live once, you can always earn money, but your friend's not going to get married every day in France, so just go." So anyway, I just went. So consequently, I had no research done on Lyon. Okay, so this is why I wanted to talk to you today about Lyon, because it is fantastic. Honestly, Lyon is a beautiful, beautiful city. It's a big city, and it's full of lots of old stuff. I'm sitting here having a French wine in Luxembourg. But anyway, so I went to the wedding and I did a little bit of sightseeing, but not much. But yesterday afternoon, or yesterday in general, should I say, it started with going for a hike with my friend's husband. we went up to a little village in Champagne. Oh, I can't get this right. Okay, so I was staying in a little place called Champagne Dior. Dior. Champagne, AU, new word, D apostrophe IOR, like Dior. Champagne, and it doesn't sound like they say the AU. Champagne Dior. Dior. Okay, I can't speak French, okay. But just outside of Champagne, there's another place called Dida, Didder. I'm sure it's not pronounced like that, but you go up this little, well, actually, it was quite steep. I mean, I love hiking, okay? So we went through all these little country, like, looked like country little villages and towns, but it was just the side of the road, basically. And it looked like, countryside and bush and stuff like that, but it was just private properties. And so anyway, we walked up this kind of steep incline all the way up to this little village on top of this mountain. And there was this, it was a school, and it looked like a castle. So back in the day, it probably was a castle, and then they just turned into a school. I'm like, how cool is that? So anyway, we're walking around. These houses are just beautiful. There's some beautiful houses. They're old. I mean, I couldn't tell you how old, but they're old. Like, I come from Australia, and 200 years old is old for us, okay? But you come to Europe, and things are like thousands of years old. So some of these houses are just beautiful, and the little cobblestone streets, and they got backyards, and they're just stunning. Beautiful flowers, beautiful greenery. There was a library, and we kind of walked up the stairs to the library, and it had this massive view over like this whole countryside, and you could kind of see the outskirts of Lyon too, but like it looked like Tuscany. Like, it was just beautiful, really beautiful. There was a few cows we saw. We saw some really weird cars, like cars. Apparently, Marshall said they're not classed as cars. They're classed. You don't need a car license. You can drive them, because they're like pretty much a bicycle, but they're like enclosed. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, the view was really cool. But there's no toilets. There's no public toilets in this little region that I went to. I didn't drink much water because I knew that there wouldn't be many toilets. But anyway, it was a lovely, lovely walk. I got to spend some time with my friend's now husband. And yeah, it was nice. It was really nice to have some quality time with, my friend's husband, and, get to know him a little bit more, and find out, why why she married him, why they're together. And I can see it. He's lovely. He actually reminds me a little bit of my dad. Like, he loves walking. They do a lot of walking together, but he does a lot by himself. And, he just walks along, and he's picking, flowers and smelling them, and leaves, and looking at plants. So it was just, yeah, my dad was very much like that too. So it was nice. So I really get why she likes him so much. And I love that for her. So anyway, that was really nice. So we spent the morning doing that. My friend was working till 12:30. So we got back about 1 o'clock. And basically Adriana and myself went downtown to the old town. And yeah, so the old town, cobblestone streets, the old town of Lyon, cobblestone streets. I don't know, I've forgotten something here. Yes, so we went down, so we caught a bus, then the metro, and then we caught a funicular. Funicular? They're the trains that kind of go up. So Marshall works at the Lyon Museum, okay? And he was like, it's up the mountain where they actually have like a fake Eiffel Tower. And you can also see, like, it looks like, I thought it was a castle, but it's the basilica, so a big church. So it's up on this mountain. So when you're kind of walking around Lyon, you look over the mountain, I mean, like over the river, there's a river called Solonge. You look over the river, and up on the mountain kind of thing, or the hill, you see the Eiffel Tower, which is a fake Eiffel Tower, but it's like a communication centre or tower. And then you can see like the towers of the basilica. I thought it was a castle, but it's a church. So that was our target, to go up here. Now, Marshall, being that he works up there, he said it'd be really, really good idea if you caught, there's two funiculars. You can get the funicular that goes straight to the basilica, and there's no fun in that because then you don't do all the walking. Or you can do the funicular that goes up to the top, so to speak, and then you go to the Roman ruins. I had no idea there was Roman ruins. Like I said, I had done no research on Lyon. I knew it was like, I had heard that it was a pretty village or like pretty town, but I had no idea like what to see. So yeah, we were walking around the old Roman ruins. There was like quite a few amphitheaters, like two next to each other. Now, they actually do every year, I think for summer, they do like light shows and operas and concerts and dancing. So they have a whole production happening. So basically there was a big, big stage put together. So the amphitheater is actually used as an amphitheater, and then you sit in on the floor, the rocks, I guess it's the amphitheater, like, you know, the ground that goes up like, you know, tiered. And then there's a stage in front of you that they've just built. So they take it down, obviously, after the festival. But this time of year, they have this festival going. So this hasn't started yet, but it's about to. Apparently, the tickets sell out really fast. But yeah, it's really pretty, like the way, well, not, I wouldn't say pretty, but I can imagine like these shows would be really amazing. But you know what was really interesting to me was that, you know, here's some like Roman ruins, right? Old Roman ruins. And they've got like bars set up, and they've got toilets, and just, yeah, it was interesting. Like, I mean, you think about the Colosseum in Rome and the Roman ruins there. I couldn't imagine them daring to put bars and, you know, shows around it. But anyway, that's what they do here. And I guess it gives you an opportunity to be like, you know, up close and personal with Roman ruins. So anyway, walked around a little bit. You can walk in them, around them. Obviously they're old, but the amphitheatre itself, you can see they've actually amended it and made it like it looks a bit more newer, because obviously they want people to sit there and be comfortable. So they've, you know, fixed this, you know, the seating, or the levels, so they're flat. So you can tell it's been amended and that it's not anciently old. So that was, you know, that was an interesting view. Look, I'd love to have been able to sit there and paint something. I love just, you know, sitting down. Hi, European car enthusiast. Hi, I'm Dora. Just talking about my experience yesterday in Lyon, in France. So yeah, I like to sit somewhere and just do a bit of drawing, and I've got a little watercolor paint set. I am not good at it. I am not professional. I just do it for fun, and it's kind of like a little bit of, you know, relaxation on a trip. So yesterday, unfortunately, I didn't have a huge lot of time. I was with my girlfriend Adriana, and she was kind of like being my tour guide. So yeah, I didn't have that time to do that, but I would have loved to be able to sit there and, you know, paint a bit of this kind of Roman ruins. So anyway, then you kind of walk over and you can see the museum. We didn't go into the museum. We walked around, and then suddenly you see the basilica. Now, I'm blown away. Like, I am not highly religious, though you would probably think I am, because the last couple of weekends I've been going to church. The last 3 weekends, the last 3 Sundays I've been at church. On Sunday, I went to one in Lyon. Sorry, not Lyon, in Champagne-Ardeur, where I was staying for the wedding. I caught the end of a Catholic mass. The week before that, I was in Samoa, and I went to a Samoan church on the island of Savahi. And then the week before that, I was on the main island of Samoa and went to another church, followed by an amazing umu lunch, which is traditional Samoan Sunday lunch. Sorry. But I'm not here to talk about Samoa. So anyway, you walk around the corner and you are just awestruck by this massive, massive facade. And you don't know where to look because it's just so big. And it's very intricate. Like it's like you can, like the carvings. Like, I mean, I know most churches have some kind of facade and, kind of, carvings and stuff like that. But this was another level. It was just immense and just very, very intricate and really just beautiful. I was just awestruck. Never seen a picture of it before, never even knew existed, basically. And then you go inside. Seriously, it's huge, okay? It's huge. You don't know where to look because there is just so much. Like, the YouTuber I am, not really, but, I try to be. I've, videoing horizontally. And like sometimes when you do horizontal videoing, you kind of, it's hard to capture all of it unless you're like way back because, so vertical I think is always the better look because you can fit more in. But regardless, vertical or horizontal, you can't fit this in. It's huge. And then like, it just looks, there's like the ceiling, they've got stained glass windows, they've got just all this, it's not carving, but like, intricate concrete, like structures and just, I'm not even explaining this properly, but just stunning, stunning, stunning. There's a huge, like lots and lots of mosaics. So lots of little tiled pictures of, Christ and different landscapes of religion. The floor is also like little tiles, but the actual pictures on the walls have got lots of colour and gold fleck going through it. It's stunning. Like, honestly, I took some pictures of just the mosaics and they're just beautiful. And you could actually get close and touch them too, and they were just really, really pretty. But like, I was sitting down for a while just looking up and around and just, I mean, I could only imagine what it'd be like to have a service there. So my friend Adriana, her mum has passed away. Her and her sister, apparently you can pay to have a service there. I don't think meaning a service just for their mum, but like a particular night or a couple of nights. She said that they open it up for, I guess, people that have passed away, and then you can have a service. So I'm pretty sure it's not individual, but you pay to honour your mother, so to speak, or there's someone that you've passed away. So anyway, she said it was beautiful. I was just like, love to go to a service there. Like, it'd be amazing. I don't know what nomination it is. I'm presuming it's probably Catholic. But yeah, just stunning, really stunning. Inside out, amazing. And then you go downstairs. Okay, then you go downstairs to the crypt, and yeah, that is another level too. It's just beautiful, beautiful. So this is, there's lots to do there. You again would like to just sit there and just stare or meditate or, pray, whatever what you'd like to do, but it was just so beautiful. So then we went outside, and then there's this great viewpoint where you're looking over the back of Lyon, and you just Lyon's huge. And then you can look back up at the basilica, the back of it. That was beautiful too. There's a like a cafe. There's a gift shop, so I went into that and I wanted to get some postcards. You can actually get some really cheap postcards there. I bought them for €50. Sorry, €50. 50 cents, like 0.50 euro. I don't know how you say that. Yeah. So half a euro. And we're downstairs at the old town. They're like $1, €2 kind of thing for a postcard. So just if you're into postcards, go upstairs. They're cheaper. So then we did this walk where we walked around to the Eiffel Tower, which is a communication centre. It's like beautiful. And then there's some stairs, like long set of stairs. And it's got all this greenery all around it. It's got graffiti around it. It looks really nice. And there's a little point where you can look back up and you can see the fake Eiffel Tower with the greenery around it, with the stairs. It was just a really pretty, like really, really pretty. And I'm sick of holding this phone, actually. So, yeah, that was just really nice walking down. And obviously it's just myself and Adriana having a chat. So that was special too. I always say to her, like, obviously, we worked together 25 years ago and spent a lot of time together when we were working. But since then, obviously, we've only, seen her this weekend for her wedding. And then previously, 13 years ago in Paris for a drink one night. So I haven't spent a lot of time together, in the last 25 years. So I always say to her, it's quality over quantity. So just that, that moment of walking down the stairs, and it's just so beautiful, and just having a chat about life. And yeah, it was just special, really special. And then we walked down to the downtown, like the old town. Now, on the Friday night when I first got to Lyon, so I flew in on Friday morning into Paris and then got the TGV. That's fast. That was cool. Which took 2 hours from Paris airport, Charles de Gaulle, to Lyon. And that night, absolutely shattered because I'd travelled like a lot of hours. Like it ended up being 39 hours till I got to my hotel room. Then I had to quickly get changed. I tried to have a 20-minute sleep. Wasn't a very good idea, but I set my alarm and then got ready and we went downtown to the old town to have like drinks and dinner with the rest of the people that were coming to the wedding. So I then got to see Marshall, because that was the first time I'd seen Marshall since I saw him 13 years ago in Paris, and that's the first time I'd met him. So, and then it was only a small, intimate wedding. But anyway, I didn't want to talk about that because I've talked about that in previous. But anyway, so we were walking past, it was a bar called Cactus, and we had so much fun there. It was like, yeah, anyway, go see that live. I think it was called, I don't know. I can't remember. I think it was my diary. Yeah. France Diaries, chapter 1. Yeah, with a baguette. That was a good one, actually. Yeah. But anyway, that talks about that. So anyway, we walked past Cactus. We saw one of the ladies that was working there that night, and she's like, said hello and said congratulations to my friend because she got married. I jumped in and went to the toilet because, again, public toilets aren't, easily available. Actually, there's no public toilets. You have to pay for the ones in the park, like in the streets, and they stink. Actually, no, I don't know if you have to pay, but they stink. So I took use of the facilities, and then we went to walking around just the old streets and cobblestone streets, very, very pretty. Lots of souvenir shops and cafes and bars. And then I saw a whole group of people open this door and then walk down this little alleyway. And I said to Adriana, what's that about? She goes, oh, quick, let's follow them. I was like, okay. So they're free to walk into, but basically what they are like secret doorways. I don't know, they're not secret because they've got this doorway, but like they're doorways to go from one side of like the street to the next street. And apparently they were used in like war times. Yeah. Again, I don't really know too much about it, but it was really interesting, very interesting. So we walked down through there. And then what else did we do? Oh, then we ended up in the square, and there was a guy playing a piano, and no, he wasn't playing a piano. He was playing a guitar. It was lovely. And then we just sat down at a little restaurant cafe kind of thing, out in like the tables and chairs are set up out on the square. So very like what they do in Rome, and they do it in France too. But just really nice because it was really quite a warm afternoon. And anonymous, hey gorgeous, say hi. Hi. So yeah, it was really nice to sit there. I'm just talking about my experience yesterday in Lyon. It was the first time I visited, and you need to put it on your list because Lyon is amazing. So I had to leave that night, so that was my last little afternoon with Adriana, and we were having a drink, and I had a set time that I needed to get back to their house to pick up my backpack and then leave to go downtown to go to the bus stop to catch my overnight bus to Luxembourg. Now, it was set up that I would had to leave at 6 o'clock. Now, it's about 5 past 5 at this stage. We're sitting there, it's super sunny, having a beer with one of my best girlfriends, just, having a chat, having a laugh, having serious laughs and just really just loving the time together. And I said to her, hey, I know it's we're running out of time here. I said, I'm going to catch a taxi. And taxis are not exactly cheap. But I was like, you know what? For the sake of being able to have one more drink with Adriana, I'm going to pay for a taxi, instead of catching the bus, then 2 metros down to my bus stop. And she's like, you will make it anyway. The times that we gave, we set up to catch the buses and stuff, gave me plenty of time to get downtown. And look, my bus didn't leave to 8:20, and they say you should be there an hour earlier, but you don't have to be. So I had heaps of time. So I just said, hey, let's have another drink. So she was drinking a wine, I was drinking a beer, and yeah, it was just lovely. If you have a girl, if you're a girl out there, you know what it is. It's really nice to have really good girlfriends to sit there, and I mean guys are too, to sit there and have a beer together in the sun in a beautiful location and just chat. So to me, I mean, yes, Lyon was absolutely beautiful, but that was also just a very special moment to sit down, have a beer, have a chat, and just enjoy each other's company. So yeah. You recently just went to Dubai and it was really hot there. Oh, I could only imagine how hot Dubai was, yeah. So then basically actually, that's one thing about Lyon. The public transport system is so good. There's many buses, there's many buses, there's a metro system, there's a funicular. It's really good. You don't have to wait long. So basically, we got home in literally 15 minutes. I basically had enough time to go to the toilet, quickly jam everything back in my backpack, and Adriana made me a sandwich, which is really nice because otherwise I wouldn't have had dinner, actually, to be honest. I kind of thought that a bus stop would have, because it's an international kind of, well, so to speak, the buses were going internationally, I thought it would be more of a bus stop hub where they'd have, information, selling tickets, and food. None of that. It's at the train station where the metro is. There's a toilet, obviously, for the metro, but there was no food. I mean, but at this stage, everything was closed anyway, so there was nothing. You couldn't get any food. So that sandwich that Adriana made me was, was really good to have. So basically I said my goodbyes to Adriana and Marshall and said, hasta luego, see you next time soon. And oh my gosh, yeah, it's so sad. They walked me to the train station, the bus stop, and, gave me a kiss and I said goodbye. And it was just, yeah, It was really nice, really nice. It's just a special moment. And yeah, then I literally got the bus down to the train station, jumped on the metro, and then jumped on another metro, and then bang, I was at the train station. Found where the buses leave from, and yeah, just waited. And yeah, so that was my chapter 4 in Lyon. Lovely, 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 lovely. I really, really liked Lyon. And I've got to say, I kind of regretted it that I didn't stay another night. I mean, like, when I was at home in Australia, literally, I was home for 2 days before I came to Lyon. I'd just come back from Samoa. So I literally was just like chucking clothes from one bag to another and washing them, and off I went again. And because, as I said, I didn't get the message about the wedding. So when I did get it, I was like, you know what, if I can make the effort, I'm going to make the effort. And I did. So I'm really glad I did. But I had to kind of pre-book some things like, like if I didn't book it, if I didn't book the ticket to leave Lyon, I'd probably still be there, which probably wouldn't be a bad thing. But I did want to kind of, I'm on a quest to see 80 countries. And if I'm going to spend, X amount of dollars to get to Europe, I've been quite lucky to have seen a lot of the European, like the Western countries of Europe. So I kind of thought I might as well try to see if I can see one of my countries I haven't seen, and one of them was Luxembourg. So that's why I tagged on going to Luxembourg. So I thought if I don't make the effort to book a ticket to get out of Lyon, I'm not going to get to see Luxembourg. So that's why I had booked an overnight ticket on a bus. It was like $36, I think. Oh my gosh, it wasn't that expensive. So I guess when you catch the high speed trains, they're quite expensive because they go fast, and time, I guess, it's quality over quantity. Like, so if you spend lots of time traveling, it's going to be cheaper. But if you do it in 2 hours, it's going to be more expensive. So that's why the bus system is cheaper and the trains are mega expensive. But I was doing it also because I thought traveling at night time's better because you don't have to pay for accommodation. But when you arrive somewhere at 3:30 a.m. in the morning, and I knew that I would have a big day because, I was hiking in the morning and then sightseeing in the afternoon, and then a bus that you probably don't sleep on, I thought it might be a better idea to actually book accommodation. So if you watch my Luxembourg chapter 1, you will see what happened when I got to Luxembourg this morning, literally this morning, at 3 a.m. Anyway, that was fun. So someone's got here, anonymous. India was good, beyond expectations. Actually, anonymous, love India. India, again, I had expectations because, you see a lot about India, like, well, you see got a lot of positives and negatives about India. So I did have a kind of thoughts of what India would be like, but India blew me away. Indian food in India rocks the world. Like, I love Indian food in general. Like, in Australia, we have a lot of Indian restaurants, but Indian food in India, whoa, blow my mind. I'm a massive foodie and love trying street food. And the street food in India was amazing. Actually, talking about street food, I really need to try crepes. I mean, I've tried crepes before. I'm not saying that I'm a massive fan of crepes, to be honest, but, when you're in France or Luxembourg, because Luxembourg is kind of, well, they speak French, they speak German, and they speak English. So they have lots of, like, they had crepe stands. We're walking around. Actually, that's in France, in Lyon. I saw that they had crepe stands. And I was like, oh, I'd like a crepe maybe. So, have you been to Sorry, I have to put my glasses on because I can't actually read that. Have you tried kol bocho? Butter chicken? Oh, love butter chicken. Butter chicken, tikal. What's the other one that starts with T? Oh gosh, I don't know. But I just remember in Varanasi, they had lots of street food, and you'd go to the street food where, like, obviously there's lots of people. That's always my tip about street food is if there's no one there, don't go there because the food's not getting turned over. But if, there's lots of people lining up, and specifically locals, it's good. So, like, for example, yesterday we walked past an ice cream shop, and I said to Adriana, I said, oh, gee, the ice cream must be good. And she said, actually, it's not very good. It's just the tourists were all lining up to go there. And she said, it's not crap. It's pretty crap. So that's why if you see locals going to some particular place, it's good. Okay, Anonymous, you've got here, any plans on visiting Goa? Yeah, I loved Goa. So really, really lucky. I did 3 months, the end of 2019, no, 2017, a while now. We went to, my partner and I, Diego, we went to Nepal, love Nepal. We went to Tibet. Tibet was amazing. And then we went for 3 weeks in India. And we went to Varanasi, we went to Calcutta, and then we flew to Goa. And I'll tell you a funny story. Diego had beef at a restaurant on the beach in Goa and ended up getting diarrhea, very badly diarrhea. And let's face it, he had diarrhea for about 3 days. And I was like, you know what? You might need to go to the hospital or the doctor. I had to go to the hospital because it was a Sunday and no doctors were open. And yeah, that was an experience. The Goa hospital is, yeah, it's an experience. So anyway, that was funny. So yeah, so I have been to Goa. It was an experience. And then what about Mumbai? Yep, been to Mumbai and Delhi. So there's another place. So after Goa, we went to Mumbai, and then on the right hand side, Agrabad. It's a big area, Agrabad. And then from Agrabad, you go to, I'm not saying that right, I know I butchered that. We hired a car, no, we hired a driver actually, and we went to those amazing UNESCO underground temples, or temples that are just built into the ground. There was 2 of them, not in the same location. I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head, but we went there, and then we went to Delhi, and obviously we went to Agra, and yeah, so yeah, that was my India experience. India was amazing. Loved India. But you know what? I actually think India was good because I had a partner with me. Sorry, Anonymous. I'm just presuming you're a guy. India. Oh, look, I'm sorry, but India does have a bad reputation for women traveling there, especially blonde women. Some of my friends, being blonde, have been and really didn't like it. They were really hassled by the men. I didn't get hassled at all. I'm blonde, and I had a guy with me, so I found it was a great experience. But if I was by myself, I probably would potentially have possibly got hassled by the guys. So, that is a bit disappointing because, for a country that is so amazing, you don't want people not to go there and talk badly about your country, just saying. So anyway, I'm going to stop because this is really about France and Lyon. And yeah, anyway, ciao for now. Bye. Okay, so you're saying that girls aren't safe. This is what I'm saying. Okay, I don't want to really talk about that anyway. Okay, bye.